Hey everybody, Tim Higgins here. I'm going to talk really fast because I'm going to time myself, see how fast we can build this out. What we're going to build is what I call an encode agent. Now, I'm sure it has millions of other terms, but that's what I'm going to call it. So basically, it's an agent that's going to work against AWS Anthropic. I did cheat to get the name of that model, and we're just going to write some quick code for it. So let's get started so you can see how easy that is. So first thing I'm going to do is see where I'm at, and I'm going to say, let's create a folder to my desktop. Fair enough. We're going to make a directory and we're going to call this agent test. And that's fair enough for me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm cheating. I forgot to start the timer. Okay, so no time lost. All right, so make directory agent test. Okay, cool. So now we're going to cd into agent test. And then from there, we'll make sure it's empty, which obviously it is because we just created. And we're going to use the new V to help us out. So we're going to say UV, initialize, and then we're going to call this agent test. Bad name, 1, right? So don't go with my agent names. And there I'm going to cd into that folder. And from that folder, I'm going to hit clear just to get some real estate. And what I'm going to do is say UV, just make sure, yeah, okay, cool. I'll make sure the main and the PY project was in there. And so from there, what I'm going to say is UV add Bodo 3. I do have videos out there on that, and now we are good at that point. So let's do ls, perfect. So what we're going to do is now is get out of this, and we're going to jump into our actual PyCharm, okay? And from here, we're going to say open, and we're going to go to desktop, and we're going to go to our agent test here, and then here. And we're going to trust this. Okay, give it a few minutes to open up, and it should sync for us. Are we? Yeah, okay, cool. So we are in our agent, which is good. That's what I wanted. So basically when I did the UV, it put us there if you read it carefully, creating environment, yada, yada, yada. So it did all that for us. So we're awesome. So now what we're going to do is clean up our main. I'm just going to do it old school. We'll get rid of this. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to have to import our references. We definitely need Bodo 3, and we're going to need JSON, right? So import JSON. Now it gets kind of tricky. I'm going to do my best not to use IntelliSense as much because to me it's kind of cheating, but it's also helps make things faster because I'm talking and wasting time. So Bedrock, we'll call this Bedrock equals Bodo 3 client, but we need to change this a little bit. We call it the Bedrock runtime. Okay, there is videos out there. In fact, I've made a few. But you can also look up what that is. Our region is East 1. So we're going to take that, and I'm not going to make this into a Lambda. It's going to run local. So we'll call it response. And that is not correct. So we're going to say Bedrock client, yes. Bedrock invoke model is what we need. Invoke model, which is kind of weird because it's not showing up. That kind of worries me. But that's okay. We'll deal with it when we get to it, right? So if I fail, I fail. That's the whole point of doing this for fun. So the first thing we do is model ID. So model ID, and that's perfect. I'm going to use that because I'm going to copy this over. Again, that's only cheating because I really do not know. There's no way in the world I can spell that correctly, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say max tokens here. And max tokens, if I can spell it right, we're going to set our max tokens to, I don't know, we'll do 1024. That works for me. It's just whatever you want, right? 400, 500, yada, yada, yada. We're at 3 minutes, so let's keep going. And then from there, what's next? Next, what we need is our message. So we're going to keep this pretty simple. Just because this is a demo. You know what? I did this totally wrong, and thanks for catching that for me. This is a JSON. You can't do equals in JSON. You have to do that. Okay, so give me a second to make sure because we got more issues here. Model ID equals that. Invoke that. And our message is going to be here. And then our message, we need a row. And we're going to say something like row. We'll clean up our mistakes in a few minutes. Oh, it's because these need to be in double quotes. See, when you're in a hurry, it's really easy to make stupid mistakes. Okay. There we go. And I'm up at 4 minutes and I just made a few mistakes. Let's go ahead and put this in its place. Okay. And then that just kind of helps us clean it up. And then from here, what we're going to say is we need, You can't use single quotes, you need double quotes. All right. See, I got too excited and let tooltip to kind of help me a little bit better. That's fine. And even your numbers are okay. Yada, yada, yada. We'll look at that in a few minutes because let me finish it out. So from here, what we're going to say is in our message, we want to say row. Now, depending on what you use, your layout may be a little bit different than mine, right? So row, user, and in the user row, we're going to say, there's something wrong with that tokens thing because I should have cleared up. Let's get rid of our spaces. Let's get well formatted JSON here. And then let's see if that helps. Give me 1 second to look. Oh. Thank you. So what this is supposed to be a body. Okay, there we go. Body, so equals JSON dumps. That is why it looks stupid. And from here, we'll just put those in there. What we need is our model ID is fine for here. And then from here, give me 1 second to look. This needs to be like this. Okay, perfect. Still got an error. We'll figure it out when we get there. So, and we can actually use single quotes for this. That doesn't really matter. Good grief, I'm wasting time. I'm supposed to be done by now. So, and then JSON dumps. Oh, this is an equals. That's why. Okay, so I'm trying to make the whole thing JSON and I can't. Okay, so we're at 6 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. So what we do need here is the Anthropic version. So we'll just copy this because there's no way I can spell that correctly. And just because I've done this very often, we're going to use version. And then from here, now we got some clean stuff. Okay. And then from here, what we need is Bedrock, and it's just the date in reverse. So 2023, if I remember correctly, and then 05, if I remember correctly. And then we'll just do 31. And I think that's right. So now what we do is do a comma. And then from there, we need our max tokens and we need our message. That was the piece that goes up here. So we'll go ahead and cut that, put that there. Now things are beginning to fall in place. Okay, so user is what? Comma. And then from there, we have content, all lowercase, content. This is the part that gets kind of fun. This is what you wanted to say. I want to say, tell me about, yes, you guessed it, Eddie Van Halen. Okay. Now, from there, we've got our close bracket. We need, let's get rid of this garbage right here. Then we've got a square bracket. And then from there, we've got another close bracket here. And that's going to set us up from there. And then the last one is this one right here. I'm not sure why it's still airing. So let's look at our stuff real quick. We got model ID. Oh, I see why. This is not that kind of pointer. Apologize about that. There we go. Model ID equals that. JSON dumps equals that. We've got Anthropic version. Let's go ahead and just line these up just because it is Python and it is picky, but it may not be that picky inside of the JSON because this is going to dump it out into a type string situation. All right, so, and then from there, we've got our square bracket, our curly bracket at the end. And then that should be followed by another square bracket. Let's go ahead and just line this up a little bit. And then from there, I think I got too many. So from there, then we've got this, that's going to put us there. And then we've got one more we've got to put in place, and that's going to make it happy. Now, the very last thing I want to do is display this. So results. You can name this anything you want, right? Results equals JSON loads response body. That's fine. Don't care about the decoder. That's perfectly fine. Normally, I don't put that in there. But now I want to print out my results, but I want to clean it up just a little bit because it is coming back. It kind of helps if you look at that payload sometimes because it will come back kind of cool. There's a lot of information you can get in there and in fact, I can't talk and type at the same time. A lot of times you can get trace information. You can get all kind of cool stuff in there. And I want to display text. Okay, there we go. Let's see how this worked out. Let's go ahead and pause our timer because if this works, we're done in 9 minutes. Wow. Ooh, we do have an error. It does not like, did I misspell that? So I have collapsed. I have failed you. So let's look and see what's going on. Input model ID. Model ID must be of. So let's see what we got. So model ID equals Anthropic, comma. Then the next one, body, JSON dumps. And then we've got Anthropic version, then our version, comma. And then our max tokens, that's correct. And then our message, we got a row. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. Our row, our content, comma, our content, colon, comma, and then that and that. All right. So why are we failing here? I'm sure it's something I am overlooking because I normally do that when I'm on videos. Model ID is failing. So model ID must be a body content. So, oh, right here. Let's see what that looks like. Bedrock dot invoke model photo 3. All right, so the code looks good to me. Runtime issues. Okay, cool. So I actually see my error. If I'd read this right here, I put the wrong thing in there. There we go. Now let's see if that works. And just like that, it should be working. Let's wait. Give it 2 seconds, maybe. Oh, there we go. So, oh, it didn't like that. All right. So, one last thing. Let's look at this, but we were close. It came back. Our results failed. So, let's look here. So, JSON loads. Let's get rid of this. We don't really need that, do we? Let's get rid of that. And let's say that's probably what broke on us. Oh, keyword body. It did not like the body. It's because it's supposed to be lowercase, not all uppercase. Let's try that again. And this should be our last run. Let's see what happens. So about roughly 10 minutes. All right. So little boo-boos because I'm typing fast and it's off top of my, look at that, but it worked. How cool is that? So this is what I call an inline agent. I hope this helped you, or encode agent, because we're really just calling a model. Now, technically it is in theory an agent. I can pass in the prompts, I can pass in the tokens, but more importantly, I can put this in my code and have it answer things for me and things like that. So anyway, I hope this was kind of helpful. It's just kind of fun. All right. Especially to get it done quickly. Meetings. Bye.